Fellas, welcome back. It's been a while. We don't have a UFC event, or we hadn't had a UFC event in a week, and I'm jonesing, dude. I'm fiending. What we got this week, though, will make it all worth it. But in the meantime, I wanted to make a video about the UFC refs because as of late, there's been some controversies. As when is there never controversies on UFC refs, man? But this man right here, Herb Dean, has blown these conversations out of proportion, and I wanted to make a video on it because I think it is time for some changes. Video doesn't necessarily have a direction, but the only direction I guess you could say is that I do want change in the scene of reffing. But we're just going to go through some articles real quick here and just talk about kind of the events that have happened recently. Jorge Masvidal, man, he's been talking about this for a long time. This ain't nothing new for Jorge Masvidal. 325 was the latest one that's in the headlines. Saint Denis and Dan Hooker when Benoit Saint Denis just beat up on Dan Hooker, and he let it go for like 30 shots. That's somewhat recent. But man, Jorge Masvidal's been an absolute proponent of getting Herb Dean fired for a long time. Now we see Henry Cejudo, and now we see guys that come from recent fights. Alex Pereira being the main one that has blown this out of proportion because, dude, he actually had bumps on the back of his head where Cyril Gane hit him. I mean, he had physical proof. And same with Andre Feely, who was bleeding from the back of his head after being destroyed by Vinicius Oliveira by elbows in the back of the head. And then on top of that, you got Michel Pereira getting his ponytail grabbed by Magomedov 3 times in the same round, who then goes to his corner and Herb Dean says, any more fouls, I'm taking a point. Then proceeds to go out there and eye poke Michel Pereira. Dude, and no point taken away, by the way. So all these happening within the last 3 events is something that's going to put this conversation back into the main scene. I'm going to get off this MMA junkie one. We're getting into that a little early, but these conversations, like I said, have been had for a while, and it's because we have the same group of refs in the UFC. It's Herb, Herzog, Mergliata, Mike Beltran, who Vampiric Legs has a good video on Mike Beltran. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Mark Smith, who tore his ACL, and Kerry Hatley, this dude, who's I guess kind of new on the scene. But why do we? It's just such a small group every time until we go to like China and these places where guys aren't, like Azerbaijan. Like you get this same group of fighters, or excuse me, referees in every state athletic commission. They do UFC, they do Bellator, they do all kind of regional MMA. Power slap, you see guys doing power slap. Why is it such a small group? We keep having these refs make mistakes, man. It's the fouls, it's the not taking away like the points during the fouls. Like just you got Herzog going up to Tom Aspinall, I believe, and just being like, "Yeah, the great thing about fouls, man, they work. You could just foul a guy." You get Derek Lewis saying he's going to go out there and kick someone in the nuts on purpose. They take advantage of it, but not only the fouls. You can make the argument everyone's human, and we hear that way too much because like these guys are supposed to be the top 10 humans at this job on the planet. But there's just some dumb shit, dude. Like, was it the heavyweight fight? Was it Tybura where they announced him as the winner and then took it away from him, or vice versa? And then came back on after they had already left the octagon and changed it. Like, there's just so many one-off, just crazy instances that should just never happen, and the same guys keep refereeing on all of it. So for it to be, the same group of guys not have any types of, I mean, I'm sure there's talent, bro. How hard is it to take a former fighter and get him to referee? But my point here is that this is kind of a club that you can't get into, and it makes you wonder what it is. I mean, sports gambling is a real phenomenon that has taken off insanely recently in the last couple years. These companies are realizing people like to gamble on sports. Who could have thought? And putting it online, right in front of your face on a device you get every day. Sports gambling's real, man. Whether you like it or not, it's real. Fixing fights is real. We've had reports come out where people have been approached by people in the scene to throw a fight for X amount of money. So, not every fight is rigged, but fights are rigged. So I'm not saying these refs are in on it, but it does make you think on why these things keep happening with this group specifically, and just some more proof, man. Big John, he has beef with Dana, or they might have squashed it by now, but Big John has beef with Dana, and he was widely considered the best ref for a long time, and he probably was. But he's in the club too, man. He's in the club too, and if you're not in it, you're not in it. There's been a few refs that he has turned against with something like this. A UFC 307 referee, you absolutely just shit the bed. Now, what could he have done? Could he have let multiple eye pokes go? Could he have warned a fighter where he does something else, like an eye poke or anything, or excuse me, like back of the head, and it alters the fight? No. This one was Josh Thompson, who I haven't seen this fight, by the way, so forgive me if I'm wrong on this one, but he said, no one gives a shit about you. You're making it all about themselves, because he kept breaking them off from clinches. Now, this is something that, dude, if you're stalling on it's literally in the rule book. You can't stall. But this is saying it's all about you, isn't it? Just absolutely ripping this guy. Just absolutely shit the bed. And then we go over, and so this is Josh Thompson. I can't remember the last time I saw him ref a fight. But then we go to what Big John has to say about Herb Dean and the recent controversies. He's defending him. Like, what? And what does he have to say about Herb Dean, who is supposed to be the absolute standard of refereeing? The number one ref on the planet is supposed to be Herb Dean. We're human. I don't care who you are as an official. You're going to make mistakes. The sport is too fast, too many things going on to sit there and say you won't make mistakes. Well, guess what? Sometimes things don't happen very, very fast. Sometimes Shara Magomedov pulls a ponytail 3 separate times, and then the round stops, and then you warn him about it, and then he does it again. Sometimes it's not so fast, man. And like I said, there's a club. I remember Yamasaki and Mazzagatti. Those two, I mean, they were bad for the sport. Like, they were terrible referees. But what happened was they got removed. And to be honest with you, they didn't even get removed. They got like kind of phased out. They just stopped scheduling them for events at some point. And those are two that you could say are probably the two worst of all time. Have both ended careers, but there, I don't have an answer, and I don't really have a question either. I'm just kind of posing the situation and what's going on. Like, there is a certain group of referees that don't change. They do every event, they do every sport, every mixed martial arts sport, that is. And there's terrible controversies, terrible, just foul things going on that shouldn't happen, that shouldn't be allowed to happen. And I think it's valid to ask why, and not just blame the fact that they're human. Some of these mistakes on the fact they're human. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know what has to be done, man. But honestly, I do know what has to be done. And, Herb Dean, we've had some great memories, man. This isn't personal. I think it's time that we remove Herb Dean from the sport. Like, I think it's time we start getting in referees that are maybe not necessarily hired by the UFC, but maybe we have a rework for the commissions and like who qualifies to be a referee, because I'm sure there's more talent out there. Like, I'm sure there is. There's street beast guys with better refereeing skills, better eyes. So, like I said, I don't know what needs to be done. But clearly there needs to be change, because we can't have this level of controversy. We can't be boxing. The UFC can't become boxing, where it seems like every fight is rigged. So that's what I have to say on the matter. I'm excited for this week. I'm definitely going to have some McGregor videos coming out. I don't know when or what or how, but they'll be out. Trust me. This is probably the biggest card of the year. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.